welcome to Cradle to Chaos.
I feel like I haven't seen you in a century, and that's not true at all, but...
It actually kind of is, though, a century for us, because we
Fair.
are used to seeing each other at least twice a week, maybe 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't seen each other in like 2 weeks.
Well, you...
A week and a half.
Were in
Gone.
the happiest place on earth.
Forever. Yes. Yeah. Like I was telling you earlier, I was on 4 flights in 7 days. Yes, we went to Disney and it was magical. Well, it was equally as magical as it was miserable, is how I've been describing it. I don't know. We had to get up really early because where we were staying at my sister-in-law's is about 45 minutes away, and we wanted to get there ASAP, when the park opened. Also had to meet my brother in the McDonald's parking lot outside of the park to give my suitcase to them so that I could go home with them because I was staying with them for the weekend. It was a whole thing. Anyway, I don't blame Millie for being grumpy, but she was very grumpy.
Fair.
And once we got to the park, it was just so hot. We got there at probably 9 a.m. and it was so scorching
It's not
hot.
like Ohio.
It was miserable, honestly.
It's chilly here in the morning.
She was just not having it. But once we got some food in her, we got our Mickey Mouse pretzel. And
obviously.
Yeah. I'm actually disappointed in the lack of all the food we got because we packed a lot of snacks. I'm like,
we did the same thing. We didn't really eat any of the staples in the park. We did get a Mickey pretzel, but I feel like we probably missed out on a lot.
Best pretzel of my life.
So good.
Honestly, so good. Because they give you a bucket of cheese to dip it in.
A literal bucket.
And it was so good. And then I also had a slushie, had some Olaf popsicles. Oh, I had a frozen cold brew or a cold brew float.
Oh.
That was good. I needed a little afternoon pick me up and really fell asleep on me. So that was perfect. But yeah.
What was your favorite part?
My favorite part, I really liked the Mike Kozowski
the laugh floor.
Yes, the laugh floor. Because Millie's been really into that movie and we've been watching it nonstop. So for her to see her reaction to everything and she would laugh and the whole audience would laugh and she would go, ha ha ha, after everyone finished laughing.
So cute.
I really loved it. I probably loved it too because it was air conditioned and we got to sit.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
That was pretty much my favorite part.
What about your least favorite part?
My least favorite part, well, we did the carousel, and I'm just not a carousel girly anymore. I can't hang. I get so dizzy and I get motion sick.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, you know what my least favorite part was? When we were waiting in line for It's a Small World, and Millie
we did not ride that.
What?
I know. I told you we didn't do
we didn't
do anything in Magic
Book
Kingdom.
your trip.
I know.
Girlfriend, what were you doing?
We were waiting in line to see characters that we then also saw later at dining experiences.
We didn't we saw Mickey, but that was,
yeah,
I was no.
We wasted our whole day.
Okay, so Millie is a pacifier hoarder, and so she had one in her mouth and she had 2 in her hands because she was grumpy. So I'm like, do whatever you want, I don't care. And she dropped her yellow passy.
Oh no, not the yellow one.
Her favorite one. It bounced into the water of It's a Small World.
Did you see it in slow motion?
I literally saw it because it stopped for a second and then it rolled right in.
Oh no.
I was like, this is going to ruin the day.
Did it?
Hands down. It did not because Mickey Mouse pretzel happened right after that.
Oh, perfect.
So things were good. And then I Amazon.
That's a whole different type of pacifier.
Yeah, it's yellow. Then I Amazon primed as we were at the park to my brother's house a yellow passy. So
I love that.
Actually 2. I gave her.
Oh
I
my
got
gosh.
2. So.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
But yeah, that was the downfall of the trip.
I have a couple life updates.
Tell me.
So I think last time we talked, we had fixed the radon.
Yes.
Our freezer is now working again.
Oh my gosh, it's like a brand new house.
But then 2 days later, our AC went out.
That feels good in here now?
Yeah. I was like, what is happening? Is there a curse on us?
Well, Lainey did see ghosts in the microwave.
That's true. I mean, it was just her mother, but
scary enough.
It turns out the fan in our furnace had gone out. I'm like, I feel like that's not normal for 3 years, but they came out.
Why is everything breaking?
Yeah, they came out a couple of days later and fixed it, so it was fine. But luckily
but then that's
that
another,
happened.
Money fix. Right. That you just didn't.
It wasn't. It was $75. It ended up being really reasonable, but
that's nothing.
Luckily that happened during the coolest week last week. It was very mild, so
yeah, it
was fine.
You could just have the windows open and be okay.
Yeah, except Lainey wouldn't let us keep her window open at night. She said, I don't like the noises. Okay. All right. Of the outdoors. Okay.
The ambience, the crickets.
Yeah. And then we finally took Lainey to her audiologist appointment.
Yes. How'd that go?
Awful. I mean, not awful. I'm being dramatic, but remember how I was like, there's no way she's going to be able to take a hearing test. They did. It was, do you think she's going to be able to raise her hand when I put a beep in her earphones? I'm like, I mean, I think she's capable of it, but I don't think she really understands the process.
That's
here.
a lot to ask of a 3-year-old.
Yeah. So they were doing it, and we were just practicing raising her hand, and she was doing fine. And then, like, she's sitting on my lap, and I can hear it through her headphones. So I kept saying, like, don't forget to raise your hand when you hear a sound. So every time I said that, she'd raise her hand. I'm like, okay, well, this isn't showing anything.
You were helping her cheat on her test.
I was. And so then they did the thing where anyone who hasn't been there, there's, like, a toy in each corner and then one in front of you. And they make noises, so it'll make her, like, turn her head to one side.
That's what they do at the ENT,
Yeah, so they know if she can register it, which she did fine with that. But, like, I don't think they could truly do a hearing test on her because they couldn't. So it was kind of just inconclusive. But they did measure the pressure in her ear. Her right ear was fine. Her left ear was totally flat, like nothing. Read absolutely nothing.
What?
Which doesn't mean she can't hear.
What do you mean the pressure?
So your eardrum is supposed to, like, move. Like when you get on a plane and your ears pop.
Yeah.
That's the, like, balancing of the pressure.
Okay.
So her left ear doesn't do that at all.
Oh, it wasn't registering pressure.
Yeah, nothing. So, like, they take, like, a little, like, pressure gauge, and he was, like, trying to get it to do anything, and there was, like, it was literally a flat line, and they were showing us what it was supposed to look like. It should be like a big curve.
Like a bell curve.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Her right ear was like that, but her left ear was nothing. So he was like, it could just be, like, still recovering from, like, the tube falling out, and it hasn't healed all the way. But then we were like, whoa, we're here. Something that we've been curious about. Her tonsils just seem so big to me. And he took one look in there and was like, yeah, those are big. And he said that, like, when she opens her mouth, they're big, but, like, they're not, like, they don't look scary or anything. But he said as they go down the throat, they're actually almost touching. So now homegirl has to go have a sleep study done because he thinks that it could be, well, he's afraid that she might have some apnea. He was asking, like, about her sleep and her breathing and if she snores and all that. So now I'm, like, second guessing everything. I'm like, yeah, she does. She snores. Yeah. Okay. I mean, but then he was like, well, what about her breathing? Have you ever noticed her stop breathing? I'm like, sir, if I ever noticed her stop breathing, we'd be on an ambulance. And he was like, it's not like that. And he was showing us, he was like, when you are sleeping, it should be like, like in a rhythm. And he said people with apnea, it's more like, and, like, catching your breath. And he's like, so you could do this at home and just, like, sit in her room and listen to her. I'm like, no. Yeah. I'm like, I just, like, I'm going to panic. I know, like, I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So he said it could be, like, that her tonsils are big, that are also pressing on her adenoids, that then are pressing into her eardrum, and that could be causing it.
Okay.
So he said either way, he would recommend her getting another tube in that ear just because that, like, completely solves the problem.
Okay.
Because that just, like,
lets everything go through.
Right. Exactly what it's supposed to do. So we'll do that regardless, but we're going to have the sleep study done to see if she needs to have her tonsils or adenoids out. That way they can just do it all in one surgery. Gosh. But, like, oh my God. So she's going to have some surgery coming up, but we have to wait for the children's hospital to call. No, it would all be done at one time.
The tube? And the tonsils and the adenoids all at once. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay,
that's why we want to wait to get the sleep study done before we even do that. Because he was like, the size alone, I could just recommend to have her tonsils removed. But I was like, I don't want to go down that path if I don't have to. Because I've had a couple friends whose kids have just had their tonsils removed. And they're like, it was the worst week of my entire life.
Yeah, like, just recovery-wise.
Yeah. It's just like most kids end up back in the hospital because they get dehydrated because they don't want to drink.
Oh, because it hurts.
Yeah. Oh, so
I'm so sorry.
I just want to find out what's going on.
Okay, this might be a stupid question, but how can you see the tonsils?
Just when she opens her mouth, like, you can see.
What do they look like?
Do you not have tonsils?
I mean, I do.
You've never looked at you've never looked at your tonsils?
No.
I get tonsil stones pretty regularly.
Wait, because you get strep a lot. Okay, I'm Googling it, guys.
Yeah, I used to get strep a lot.
It's like the little flappies to the side.
Mm-hmm. But then they, like, go down your throat.
Oh, I see. Okay. I'm looking at, like, a real photo. This is disgusting. Yeah. Wish I didn't do this.
Yeah, the next time you're with Lainey, I'll just have her open her mouth and you
I'd
can
love
take a
to
look.
see that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
like,
scary.
"Hey, Lainey, can I see
I
your
don't even
tonsils?"
remember.
Okay, I see
This
now.
was like a couple months ago, and she was like laying on me, and just like I was like tickling her, and she had like opened her mouth, or maybe she was screaming. I don't know. Either way, I got a really good look, and I was like, I don't know about that. So I'm really glad that I brought that up at her appointment, because otherwise,
you did too. You would not know.
yeah.
What are the adenoids? Where are those at?
So I feel like it's like on the other side of your tonsils, like closer to your ear. I don't know a whole lot about the adenoids, but I know it's pretty common for those to be removed, especially in children now.
It's like right here
Yeah.
inside, like right where you're like your inner earlobe.
That's why they were saying if those are also big, it could be pressing. So I don't know.
Man, we are doctors.
Right.
Follow us.
MDs.
Advice. Man, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, don't be sorry. It's not, I mean, people have their tonsils removed every day. I don't think it would be a huge thing, but it's just.
So how does a sleep study work?
Oh my God, the Googling and YouTube videos that I've watched on this, because I'm like, our sleep routine is, I mean, you can probably hear her upstairs still banging on the gate. I was worried that we would have to leave. I was like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah. Is it at night?
Yeah, it's overnight. Like you bring them in, they're not allowed to nap that day, and you bring them in around their bedtime. And then they have a sleeping chair, so one of us can stay there with her.
Oh, good. A nice chair.
Right. Just like Dad at the hospital. But what freaks me out is there's all of these, like those little tags, like heart monitor tags. They put those all over her, but then there's like a million sensors on her head.
Yeah.
And then they will like wrap her head. But I'm like, she's going to rip that off immediately. She's going to say immediately no. She's going to be terrified.
Yeah.
Although the hospital the video that I watched, it was just like a regular hospital bed.
Okay.
I feel like our children's hospital it's like top in the country, so they might have it figured out a little bit more. So I don't know. I'm just going to trust the process, know that they've done this a million times. And
do you have it scheduled?
No, they haven't even called yet.
Oh, okay.
Her appointment was just on Friday.
Jeez.
So they have to make the referral, and then children's has to call us. So I figure it will probably take a while, and then scheduling with them is not the easiest thing in the world either. So
yeah, for sure.
We'll see.
Gosh, it just feels like she's so young for that.
I know, but I'd rather her do it now and get it
Yeah.
over with and figured out than have to like do it later on where she's like more in tune with like, not that she's not in tune with pain now, but she won't remember this.
Right.
You know?
Get it taken care of before it's a big issue, and she can. Yeah.
And she'll actually want to snuggle and love on me.
Oh. Do they give them any like sleep medication to get them
No,
to go to bed?
they can't, because it has
they
to
need
be like
everything.
a true screening for how her
Okay.
sleep is going.
Dang, I was like, you should just drug her up and make her fall asleep.
Benadryl. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's the best sleeper ever.
Melatonin, Benadryl.
Oh
Well,
my
do you remember a few episodes ago when I said I'd never call the on-call doctor?
Yeah.
Well, that all changed this morning.
Oh my gosh. It's
so-
always, why is it always on a like Saturday night or Sunday morning?
Okay. So, all right. It's actually kind of funny because I came in like today, I wanted to come in and talk about lemon essential oils and how when you put a drop on one of those little rubber bands that we put in our girls' hairs,
they like
it literally
disintegrates.
Just, like, disintegrates. And it's the best thing ever to happen to us because her daycare teachers like to put her hair in like elaborate, hairdos. Mm-hmm. And it's been great for us. Okay, well, it was really close to the scalp this time, or like, to the scalp, but to the forehead. Like it was kind of like little like bumps, I guess, along the back of her head. So you know where this is going.
I do.
I put the lemon essential oil on the top of her head, but she was looking down. Yep. Flowed down right into her eyes.
Oh,
and
poor
she was
girl.
Screaming.
Aww.
And of course, like that's like lemon juice in your eyes.
Yeah.
Probably worse. It's concentrated.
Yeah.
It's not diluted at all. I felt awful. I still
Poor
feel awful.
baby.
Her eyes were beet red. She was crying so hard. So I immediately took her out of the tub. This was in the bath. I immediately took her out of the tub and I was like washing her eyes, like trying to flush them the best I can. I'm like Googling what to do.
Mm-hmm.
They say milk. So I ran her downstairs and I could put some cold milk
You
on
have any
the
leftover
washcloth.
breast milk?
I wish. And then she just like, I don't know, she wasn't having any of it, of course, because she's a toddler and she was in pain. So eventually she kind of like calmed down, but I'm like, I don't know, like if this is going to cause damage. Like what if this, like
your
she
mind
was
goes to the worst.
Oh yeah. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to make my daughter blind. So I called the on-call doctor, and luckily our doctor happened to be on call today, her
Oh,
pediatrician. So
good.
she called me right back, and I love her so much. So she talked me down, and
all good.
all good.
She's gonna be
keep
fine.
flushing it. And then a few hours later, she was like, her eyes were back to normal, and she wanted to go outside and play. So
It's always scary when that, like, those random things that nobody ever has heard of happens, and you're like, what do I do?
Right. I came today like fully prepared to promote lemon essential oils, and now I'm like, I don't know that you should.
They have ponytail removers.
Yeah.
They have like a little blade, and
I
it just
know. I just feel like that's gonna like pull on her hair, and like the whole. It doesn't. Okay. Because I'm like, my whole thing is like, I don't want to hurt her.
I pull like one part of it out. You know, does that make sense?
It
like
does.
You wrap it around multiple times, and I just pull like the one
I like
circle.
to do the whole thing.
Yeah, if I do that, then like there's like 5 pieces of it, and I just like one piece.
Yeah, that's fair. She's just really a terror when it comes. Like she screams, and I just don't want to hurt her. So then by not hurting her, I hurt her. So
was that one of your tantrums for today?
I guess it could be. It wasn't, but.
Well, how about I get us started with my treat?
Yes.
Well, actually, I have 2 treats.
Perfect.
I guess
I think we both could use a treat.
Yes, 100%. I guess we can finally start the episode. Okay.
We're still here.
I have a treat for Lainey and Chloe. Lainey, okay, it's kind of like an annoying treat because it was cute after the fact, but in our sleep episode, I was talking about how, like, girl will get out of bed 100 times with a different reason each time. So last night, and then in our birthday episode, I was talking about how we go to Build-A-Bear, and we build the bears, and she sleeps with all of them. Like, she has 3 now, and she sleeps with all of them.
Aww.
Well, one night over the last week, she comes into our room and opens the door, and we're, like, at our wits' end. We're like, what? What is wrong? What do you need? Like, go back to bed. And she's holding, like, between her pointer finger and her thumb finger, like it's gross, the pants that were on this bear. And she was like, ugh, my bear peed in her pants.
Kids will try anything.
I was like, Lainey, you are the most obnoxiously cute person on this planet. I'm like, you know what? Go put them in your hamper. We'll wash them in the morning. Go back to bed.
Where did her little mind even think of that?
I mean, probably when she's had accidents, and I don't know.
She had to have taken them off her bear.
She did. Yeah. Yeah, she undresses. That's another thing. She'll undress all of her stuffed animals that wear clothes and be like, "Can you put their shirt back on?" I'm like,
I can't sleep until
absolutely
it's
not.
on. That's so funny. Oh my god.
And for Chloe, this is more of just like milestones. She has been doing really well learning her signs. So she now signs more and please and all done. And she's been blowing kisses lately, which is really cute. And she goes, mwah.
I love that.
So cute. She started to wave and she's clapping now. And then just yesterday, I think? Yeah, yesterday was the first time we let her try milk, like real milk.
Yeah.
And I think she was a little turned off at first because it's cold.
Yeah.
And she's not used to, like,
We still warm up
cold.
Millie's milk.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. We've never warmed bottles ever. So, like, she's always been used to room temperature.
Yeah.
So
that's
cold
where we
for
went
her.
wrong.
And it was funny because today she started, like, chugging it. Like, I'm talking, we give her a sippy cup and she's,
Oh my gosh.
like, and we're like, I mean, I gave her like half a sippy cup full.
Yeah.
And then after she sat there for a while, just like staring at us and let out the biggest belch I've ever heard out of this child. It was so
She was like,
funny.
I'm milk drunk.
She was like, and then she barely ate her dinner. So lesson learned, we'll give that to her after dinner.
After dinner. Yeah. I like to do it before bedtime if she didn't eat much during the day. Because
that's a good idea.
guaranteed to fill her up a little bit more and help her sleep. That is so funny. Oh man. My treats, I mean, one is from vacation when we met Mickey. Millie, like, she was a little scared at first. So you like walk in when it's your turn and like, you know, he's there all dressed up or, you know, whatever. And he's goofing off and stuff, and she was like a little bit timid, and so I held her and we walked over there and we were just talking. I was like, oh, Millie loves you, Mickey Mouse, and Mickey Mouse drew like a heart with his hands, and then Millie was like, Millie, can you say that you love Mickey? And she just blows a kiss.
Aww.
Like that, like
So
she didn't say anything. It was
cute.
just like, I don't know, it was just such a like genuine, cute
Yeah.
little reaction. And then also on our vacation, it was, I guess this is more of a me treat, but like she was so outgoing with our family members. Like she wanted her uncle to like hold her, and she wanted to
Aw.
like sit on my sister-in-law's lap, and
That's
like
sweet.
it was just really sweet to see her like interact and just be, because she's always so kind of timid and
Well, and
shy.
also give you somewhat of a break too.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not
But then I almost
on
felt
my hip.
guilty. Yeah, especially because I was like single mom in that trip.
Right.
But yeah, it was just like super cute to see her like form bonds with like extended family that we don't get to see that
That's
often.
so sweet.
Yeah, it was
I
really
love that.
nice.
All right. Well, my tantrums from this week are both Lainey.
Sounds about right.
She had, when was this? I don't know. A few days ago, she woke up screaming at the top of her lungs at 5 a.m. one morning. And I was like, what is going on? And I go in there and she busts into our room and all I hear is, my night light turned off. And so she got a new nightlight for her birthday, and it's really cool. It has like clouds and stars, and it's like a projector on her ceiling. It's so cute.
Yeah.
And you can pick the colors, and
That's fun.
it's really cute. And but this is probably the third time that this has happened now. It just like randomly turns off in the middle of the night. Like, and I have timers set where it's supposed to turn on at a certain time and turn off at a certain time. And I can't figure out why it's doing it. I even
went to
reached
sleep or
out to their
something.
support because I'm like, listen, if this continues to happen, I'm actually going to throw it out the window.
Yeah.
But I mean, she ended up going back to sleep, but she had a really hard time calming me down. It was those like breaths, you know, like
Because
just
of her
like
nightlight?
so
Is it 'cause she, like-
petrified of the dark. Petrified of
She
the dark.
woke up and it was
Listen,
dark.
that's actually how I got her to get upstairs this morning, or this evening to go to bed. We were all down here, and I was like, all right, we got to go upstairs and take a bath. And she was like, no, I don't want to. And I was like, hey, well, you can stay down here, but we're all going upstairs, and it's going to get dark down here.
So she
She was
ran.
the first one up the stairs.
Love it.
Trauma-inducing mom over here, but it's fine.
Threaten them with their fears.
My second tantrum, it's not really a tantrum, and it is also kind of cute, but it's another one with Lainey waking up in the middle of the night and coming in our room. But she did this morning, actually. Well, it was like 4 in the morning. She came in our room, and she's like, you can hear her like quietly crying in the hallway, like nothing like crazy. But I was like, Lainey, what's wrong? And she goes, I need you to get my boogers. She has a little cold, but she's like asking for help blowing her nose, and she was like, I've got boogers.
Oh, that's so
Okay.
sad.
And then she blowed her nose and went right back to sleep.
Oh my god. I
Like,
absolutely.
okay.
Oh, that is so cute.
What about you? What are your tantrums?
Oh man, well, the lemon oil is definitely a big one. So a tantrum that has started probably a month or so ago is Millie hitting when she doesn't get her way.
Lainey hits
And-
the air, or like her side. She just
Oh,
like
well,
swats at
not
us.
hitting any person.
Yeah, I know.
That's good,
It's
except
just,
for that one time.
It's just her tood.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
But I don't know where she even learned it, or if it's just a toddler thing, because I think like that's kind of a human response when you're frustrated. But she, like, an example, we were going to bed, classic, that could be tantrum every week, going to bed, and she wanted to go out of her room and go back and watch TV in our loft. And I was like, no, it's bedtime. Like, we're done watching TV. And I shut the door. And I'm like holding her because I didn't want her to like run out the door again. So I'm like holding her and bringing her back into her room. And she does it with 2 hands, and she doesn't do it hard because she knows she's not supposed to. And she just goes like very lightly, like, but like almost gentle.
Yeah.
Because she knows
She
she's
like
not
stops
supposed to.
herself. She was like, she's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to get in big trouble.
But then she looks me dead in the eye and waits for my reaction.
Oh yeah.
Waits for it. Just like,
Oh.
like,
Oh, I hate that.
and I'm always like, we don't hit. Like, that's not nice. I know, I understand you're frustrated that we can't go watch TV. You're a little bit mad right now. I understand. But like, reasoning with the toddler is tough, which we're going to talk about today. So I feel like this is a really good segue into today's episode, where we're going to talk about discipline and just all things kind of toddler tantrums, things like that. But I thought it was really interesting. It goes along with the hitting. It's just like, it has to be really frustrating being a toddler.
Oh,
and
totally.
I know, like,
you have so much coming at you all the time.
So much coming at, but also, like, they want to do all these things by themselves, and they want to have control of situations, and they just don't have the skills or the abilities or, like, the words to do the things that they want to do. Yeah. So when I get frustrated, I, like, try to remember that, because I'm like, she genuinely, like, is really trying right now, but she cannot.
What helps me sometimes is I will stop and I will be like, this child has been on this earth for literally 2 years.
How is she supposed to know?
Right.
Yes. Well, and it's interesting, too, because I was looking up the science a little bit. Gonna get sciencey on you. The part of the brain that controls emotional impulse, I don't know why I put my head right here. I'm just imagining it's right here on your head, isn't developed yet. It's right there. Here's your amygdala, your hippocampus, and impulse
should be videoing
control.
you right now.
But yeah, it's like impulse control is not developed yet. So of course, like, they don't know how to regulate their emotions. Like, genuinely, their brains don't know how.
It's a true statement. I mean, some adults can't even handle it. So so speaking specifically about discipline, psychologically speaking, I'm gonna like pull out my psych degree here.
Oh yeah, you actually have a
I
degree,
do.
so you can listen to Kelsey. Don't listen to me.
I'm not currently using it in life, but that's fine.
Right now, you're using it.
That's right.
That's that.
That's right. If anyone wants to pay me for this, just feel free. I'll drop
Little
my
sleepies,
Venmo.
are you out there?
Just kidding. So there's 4 types of discipline. There's positive reinforcement, positive punishment, negative reinforcement, and negative punishment. So have you heard those terms before?
Yes.
Okay.
I took exactly one psych class in college.
Okay.
It was my favorite.
And that was the one?
Well, I feel like it
was probably like behavioral psych or something.
Yeah. That sounds right.
So positive reinforcement, and try not to think too much about like positive and negative being like actually positive and negative, because that's not what they really mean. Positive reinforcement is when you add something to help continue a behavior.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So like
lollipops.
Here's a piece of candy for going pee on the potty. Yep.
Okay.
Positive punishment is adding something to stop a behavior. So implementing an earlier bedtime because you're being a brat. Okay. Or as a teenager, an earlier curfew because they weren't listening. Or even like a timeout after hitting a sibling.
Got it. Not that has ever happened.
No, I don't know anything about that. No. And then negative reinforcement would be taking something away to continue a behavior. So like, hey, you can stay up a little later tonight because you did such a great job listening. Or like for older kiddos, you can get a day or a weekend off from chore duty because you kept your room clean all week.
Yeah.
And then negative punishment, which I also like to call the power struggle, is your child is misbehaving, so you take away their favorite toy.
Okay.
And that's the least effective form of discipline, and it's the one we go to the easiest. Yeah. Because it's an emotional response most of the time. Yes. So like Lainey won't stay in bed at night, and I'll be like, I'm going to take your nightlight and I'm going to take all your toys and I'm never giving them back. And she's like, okay, no, you're not.
Yeah.
But so any type of reinforcement is genuinely the best way to do things. It's just not always the easiest way to do things, and it takes the longest amount of time to like continue it because you have to be consistent with it and do it all the time.
That's the thing. Consistency is key. The second you break that consistency, it's all hell breaks loose.
And I find myself, you have to follow through, and that is my worst part about doing this. Like, if you're gonna make a threat, follow through with it. And I do that all the time where we're like I'm gonna take all your stuff. Like, no, I'm not. Yeah. And she knows that. She's like, okay, yeah, sure you are.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna burn this house down if you don't stop.
Yeah, like, probably not. Unless Radon comes back.
Oh, right. Don't let him match in here. So I wanted to talk a little bit about timeouts too. And I know that you've used timeout recently.
I've used it one time exactly.
Yeah, same. I used it once when Lainey hit Chloe.
Yes.
And I
freaked out.
Yes. Yeah. So, and then I'm not saying that timeouts are bad, but I just typically, they don't work.
So that would be considered a negative punishment. because we're taking away something from them because they, like, whatever they're doing, we're
It's
taking away.
Positive punishment. You're adding something to stop a behavior.
Got it.
You're adding the timeout because...
Not like I'm taking away the TV.
No, that would be a negative punishment.
But I'm taking away the TV because I'm putting her in timeout.
Well, I guess that would be both then.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
But the recommendation for a timeout is 1 minute per year that child is. So like for a 2-year-old, it's 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and so on and so forth. For me, it's always been a last resort, and I don't say, and like now, I guess I still do use like quote unquote timeout, but I don't call it that. I'll say, like, let's go sit over here, take a second to calm your body.
Yeah,
let's look at some books.
What it is. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. It's an opportunity to just like chill out for a minute.
One thing that worked very well with us for Lainey, and we still use it to this day, is once she learned how to take a deep breath. It has been a godsend, especially like when she gets herself really, really worked up, like the night that her nightlight turned off.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm like, you're safe, you're fine, I have you. Can you take some deep breaths for me? And like through all her sobs, she goes,
yeah.
And it really helps her calm down.
Yeah.
So breath work in general is a really, really good thing to start with kids, and there's a ton of different ways to teach it, and I can go through them if you want me to.
Yeah. Well, let me know if this is one of them, because I have tried to do the take a deep breath thing, but she doesn't quite understand it yet.
Yeah.
So I do like, all right, how about you blow? Like blow like you're blowing out a birthday candle. Yep. Is that one of them?
Yeah. I used to say, or like blow like you're like, or like physically even give them bubbles and have them blow on the wand, so they know what they're doing. But I used to say, can you be so silly and blow on mommy's face?
Yeah,
like stuff
that's
like
good.
That. What's hard is to get them to like breathe in and then breathe out. So we'll do, there's a flower candle breath. So imagine you're smelling a flower and then blowing out the candle.
Okay.
So, but that's also like, if they know what that means.
Yeah.
But it helps so much in those instances where there's just like way too much emotion happening.
Yeah.
The other breath option that you can use for kiddos, it's called the bunny breath, where you take 3 quick inhales and 1 long exhale. So,
okay.
like a bunny.
Yeah.
Make scrunch your little bunny nose.
Yeah. Okay, so. That's cute. Love that.
It's not cute in the moment, but
right.
Unless it works.
Yeah. I feel like a really important thing that I have learned is like giving attention to the right behavior is kind of the way to go, because if you give attention to the negative behavior, they're just going to keep doing it because they're getting what they want. So if they're screaming out in public and you keep saying like, no, 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 well, maybe that's a bad example, but you understand what I'm saying. It's like they're getting the attention that they want. So I've been trying really hard. If she's doing something silly, like, or if she hits me sometimes, I'll just ignore it. I won't even say anything.
Yep.
Or I'll just say like, we don't hit. And then I'll just like keep going about my business.
Yeah.
Because that way she's not getting the attention that she feels she deserves at that moment.
Yeah.
But then if she does something good, like puts her toys away or something, I'm like quick to be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
You're the best human I've ever met.
Literally. Or like today we went to the grocery store and she was so good. And so when we got to the car, I said, thank you so much for being such a good girl at the grocery store. And I kept saying it while we were in the store too, because she was being so good and she continued to be good.
Yeah. There's a couple times where I've been playing with Lainey, just like sitting down with her in her playroom, and something goes wrong, and she'll do the like and like swat at the air. She's never hit us. Well, I mean, she's probably like bruised us, but
yeah,
those are the times where like I don't say a word, I stand up and walk away.
Yeah.
And then she's always like,
yep, exactly. It's like you're taken away at that moment.
Yeah. And I wrote down redirection, aka distraction. It works most of the time. Situations where something's being used incorrectly, like you can't kick your puzzle, but let's go find a ball that you can kick.
Yeah.
And so like the whole point of redirection is to more or less ignore the bad behavior, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Unless it's actually worth spending time on. Because you could do that a million different ways. You could say, oh my God, I can't believe you. Don't kick the puzzle.
Yeah.
I can't believe you do that. And then they're it's like you said, it's giving them attention either way.
Right.
Or like in a sibling rivalry situation, if one sibling is hitting the other, don't ever go to the sibling that did the hitting first.
Yeah.
They are, unless like, I don't know, like use your best judgment if
Yeah.
there's like blood or whatever. But we would, like when I was teaching, I would like over dramatize going to the child that got hit. Like, oh my gosh, Chloe, are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, let me give you a hug. That was so not nice. And then there's a lot of friction on whether or not you need to make a child apologize or not.
Yes.
I'm somewhere in the middle. I
Yeah.
think that they need to acknowledge that they've done it.
Yeah.
But some people get so hung up on like, say sorry. Say sorry. Like, they don't really know
you're
what that
just telling
means.
them to say words.
Right. So what I would try to do is like, look how sad that Johnny is. Like, you made them so sad, or like, look where their boo-boo is, or, you know, whatever. And just like acknowledging that emotion happened because of what they did.
That's a good idea.
It's a really hard bridge to build,
Well,
though.
then you have to remain patient.
Right.
Which that is the hardest part, I think.
Yeah. It's a little easier to do at home than it is in a classroom full of students, but
Yeah.
still
Probably
trying.
easier to do with kids that aren't yours, though.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just not easy ever.
It's hit or miss. Yeah.
Yeah. Something that's worked well for us is giving Millie options.
Mm-hmm.
So no more than 2. It's only 2 options. It's like, do you want your Mickey cup or do you want your princess cup? You know, do you want an orange popsicle or do you want a green popsicle? That kind
Until
of thing.
she makes you open all of them in front of you.
And yeah, that was a bad day. But just because then it helps her to feel empowered a little bit. Like she kind of made the decision, or she was the one who was like, I don't know, just more involved in the process. And because they're always like,
It gives them some
it's
control.
a power struggle all the time between us and our toddlers.
Yeah.
It helps a little bit, and you have to be happy with both the choices
Yeah.
that you offer. But
Options have
works.
always worked for Lainey until they didn't.
oh no,
And it's mostly, no, it's pretty much everything now. But a lot of the times it's about what she wants to wear. And I don't care what she wants to wear. It's just that she wants to pick the like massive Elsa costume every day. And I'm like, okay, girl, like you can only wear this to so many places.
right?
But
You
I
wore
will
this
like
week already.
literally, like, I will pick out 2 different outfits or whatever and show her. I'm like, do you want to wear this one or this one? And she'll say, I don't want none of them. So she says, I don't want none of them. And she runs into her closet to find something else. But she has like figured out that those aren't actually the only options. So she knows.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, joke's on you, Mom. I'm smart now.
Yeah. Millie just learned how about. So she'll say, how about blank?
That's so
and I'm like,
funny.
I don't know if I like this.
Lainey just learned nothing. Like, I'll be
I
like,
want
Lainey,
nothing.
what are you doing? I'm not doing nothing.
I'm not doing nothing.
Like, really?
Or what do you want to your hair? Nothing.
Yes.
Millie's having nothing to her hair for a long time, by the way.
So funny. She's also, this is kind of going off topic for a minute, but I don't want to say she's learning how to lie, but we're trying to like teach her not to do that because, so I actually had a little spa day today. I got a facial and a massage.
Oh my God. How was that?
It was great. I've never had either, so that was wonderful.
What?
I know. No.
You're like
I'm
a new
I'm a whole new woman.
Yeah.
But
That's why you're still like dressed. She's like in a cute little dress.
I just wore this to church, that's all, and then
And
I
she
never
just
came
looks
home.
beautiful. And
Oh.
I'm over here in sweats. I literally have Frida baby socks that came in the like Frida baby mom care package.
You look amazing. Shut up.
I
But-
don't put makeup on in days.
I was gone during what would have been nap time, and Adam was like, "Yeah, she will never nap for Adam if I'm not there on the
much
weekend.
fun.
Like she won't do it.
It's time to party.
No, he just like won't take her back to her bed 100 times. But so I came back and I was like sitting down playing with her, and I was like, Lainey, did you take a nap today? And she said, I did. I'm like, really? You took a nap in your bed? And she kind of looks at Adam and she goes, yeah. And I was like, are you telling the truth? And Adam was like, did you take a nap today? And she goes, no. Oh my God, I'm not ready for this.
Oh no. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
I always like to like talk about Millie's feelings, which I think is a millennial thing.
I wrote down validating feelings. I mean,
Yeah.
that's been something that has been like in the playbook since I worked with kids.
Okay.
So I don't think that's necessarily a millennial.
I
think
TikTok
it might
recently.
be something where like now people are okay with doing it because it feels really silly. It feels really silly.
But growing up, we didn't talk about feelings.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So it's like a newer thing.
If you're not used to doing it, you've never done it or never had it done to you. But once you get past that, it's really helpful and really useful.
Super helpful. Yeah. I'll just be like, oh, I know you're angry that we can't go to the park right now, but maybe we can go tomorrow. And just like saying things like that to kind of validate her feelings or to just like tell her how she's feeling almost because they can't really identify like what's happening in their brains at that moment.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, if you have a kiddo who like really struggles with feelings, which is a normal thing, don't think it's not normal.
It's literally a milestone.
Yeah. But something that helps if you have a kiddo that maybe has a hard time like sorting those feelings. I think for some kiddos, like sometimes there's like an extra like sensory layer there. They have something I would recommend getting is feelings cards, and find like a spot in your house where you can put them on the wall, and that way you can like show them. And this doesn't necessarily go back to like something being wrong with a child, but like in college, everybody learns a different way, you know? People are visual learners, people are auditory learners. Like, it just is very different. I get nothing out of a single person standing in front of me speaking.
No,
same. Like, I can't
Give me
focus.
Pictures?
Yeah, anything. Make a joke, like, jolt me up a little bit.
Yeah.
But for validating feelings, kind of like what you were saying that you say to Millie, so it looks like you're feeling really frustrated right now. And then I like to do like, what can I do to help with that feeling? And I'm trying to avoid like solving it for her, because I do that a lot too. Like her, you were like, well, we could do it tomorrow, or we could do it another day, or like, I don't know that really resonates with her. I'm like, do you know what tomorrow means?
Yeah.
So I've been asking her like, what would make you feel better right now? And sometimes it's a vicious circle of like whatever she wanted that she couldn't have.
Yeah.
But every once in a while we do get to the bottom of things.
Yeah.
So it just depends on how much time you have in that situation.
Yeah. And I think on the flip side too is like, if I say no to something, like if she's behaving badly or if she wants another lollipop, you know, whatever it is, I'm like, we can't do that because, you know, and trying to explain the reason. So it's not just like, no, because I said no, even though my parents did that all the time, because I said no.
Yeah, because I'm your mom.
Because I said no, because I'm the adult.
Yep. Because I make the rules. This is my house.
Yep. Haven't got there yet, but I'm sure that day's coming.
With Lainey specifically, talking things out has always been the thing that has worked best for us outside of deep breaths. But she was a very early talker. Like, she just was like a little bit easier to communicate pretty early on, where like other kid, I mean, that was atypical. Like, she was just she's always been a little mouthy, you know?
Yeah. It's like, if you meet this child, you would never know.
Yes. But we just have to remember to explain things in a way that they will understand. Because just because they're repeating back what you're saying doesn't mean that they're really...
That's why I say sorry isn't necessarily effective.
Right. And something that I love to do when Lainey's getting frustrated because she wants to do something like right now is if-then statements, if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah.
Also, like, if you brush your teeth, then we can read stories. So it's typically more productive for something that they want to do, and not something that they don't want to do. So like, sometimes she wants to bypass bedtime and just like go in her room and read books. Like, I'll be like, we have to brush your teeth, we have to brush your teeth, we have to brush your teeth. And it's like, if we brush your teeth, then we can do X, Y, and Z. And a lot of times that'll work better for her.
That's a good idea. I found myself yesterday, actually, because Millie really wanted to go to my parents' house, and we always do dinner on Saturday nights with my parents. And so we were going to go to the farmer's market in the morning, and then my parents in the evening. And so we got in the car, and she just kept saying, Nana Papa's, Nana Papa's, Nana Papa's. And I said, no, we're first going to the farmer's market, and then we're going to Nana Papa's later. And I don't know that. I think it worked because she stopped asking, but I don't know.
Well, side note, Lainey's one set of her grandparents are also Nana and Papa.
Love that.
I think going back to like just talking things out, sometimes a simple rephrase is really helpful. Yes. It's just a little interesting fact for you that kids tend to hold on to the last 3 words of a sentence.
Oh, interesting.
Instead of the beginning of a sentence. So it can be
I did not know that.
as simple as let's say I was saying, you need to clean your toys up before we go outside. All she hears is like, we're going to go outside. So instead, you can rephrase it and say, we can go outside after you clean up your toys.
Interesting.
And like, I think about that all the time, but it's hard sometimes. It's like a really easy switch, but like the natural order of things is like to say like what we need to do first and then. But like,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was something that I learned.
That's great advice.
At school. And just like language skills are always developing, so they might not comprehend what is being asked of them. So sometimes they need a model.
Yeah.
On like what that looks like.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is also hard when you're trying to do 100,000 things at home.
Yeah. Something you taught me actually was eyes. Let me see your eyes.
I wrote the two. Find my eyes.
Find my eyes. So I've been doing that, or let me see your eyes.
Yeah.
And that works really well for her.
Yeah. I still use it with Lainey every once in a while when she gets like overtired and she's just like literally bouncing off the wall. And I'll say, find my eyes. And she like pauses. Gotten poked in the eye a couple times from that, but
it's okay. Whatever
at
works.
least it makes her like focus for a millisecond.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we were at the library yesterday, and she was being really loud, like screaming, like screeching. It's a library. You shouldn't be screaming in a library. So
library's gonna come get you.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, find my eyes. Where are my eyes? Where are my eyes? Let me see your eyes. And she comes over and she looks at me, and I'm like, I know you're having so much fun right now, but we just need to lower our voices a little bit.
Yeah.
And then she was like whispering the rest of the time.
Something that's been like ingrained in Lainey somehow, and I don't know why this is the one rule that she's like, we have to follow. It's that.
For now.
Right. Is that we're only allowed to scream outside, that we can't scream inside. But like, man, when we're outside, the rule is free.
Oh, yeah, I don't care what she does outside.
Oh my God, it's so funny though. Like, she'll be playing with her babies or something, and she'll go, ah, and then she'll be like, we're not allowed to, we can't scream inside.
Oh my
like,
God,
why
that's
is that
adorable.
the rule that?
Did your parents, when you were little, if you ever like acted out when you were out or at a restaurant or a store or something, like threatened to take you to the car?
Oh yeah.
Okay, same.
Totally.
So we were out to dinner with friends on Friday night, and Millie was acting a fool, and I was like, "Do you want to go sit in the car?" And she goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Dang it!"
Oh my gosh,
that backfired so hard.
That's happened to me at dance a few times. I don't know if you've ever heard when we would go to dance and she's like not participating. I'm like, if you don't start participating, we're just gonna go home. And she's like, I want to go home. I want to go home. And I'm like, get your butt out there and dance.
I hate that. It backfires. Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, this is supposed to be a punishment.
It's something I was also thinking about too. I mentioned this a minute ago, but just age appropriate expectations in general.
Yeah.
So directions specifically, there are 1-step directions, like please push your chair in. And then there's 2-step directions, which would be push your chair in and wash your hands. And then there's multi-step directions. Please push your chair in, wash your hands, and come sit on the carpet. Okay. And that's something more specifically probably for teachers. I mean, you could use it at home too, but a lot of teachers will get frustrated because like they'll like skip a step or not do the whole thing. And like you're giving away too much at once, just depending on the age group. Like a kindergartner or a 4-year-old should be able to take multi-directions fine. And Lainey's getting to the point where I could probably say all those things as long as she was focusing on me. But like a 2-year-old, 2-step directions would probably be
like a if then
good. Yeah.
Kind of in the same realm.
And I would say like maybe based on their age, like a 1-year-old, 1-step direction, a 2-year-old, a 2-step direction, you know, given it, and then you guys are going to know your kids better than anybody, but something to experiment with. Yeah. And that's something at your well visits, depending on where you live. Here you have to fill out, oh my gosh, what are they called? The questionnaires. We did them as teachers too.
The milestones.
ASQs.
Oh.
And it's like cognitive learning, behavioral questions that they'll ask you about just to make sure that they're like hitting the things that they could, but that is part of them that they'll ask questions like that on there. And I wish they gave them to you before you were in the office so you could actually like
think about it
or like test it out.
Oh,
you know, and like it'll ask a question. Like a specific one I can think of is if you ask your child to sit under a chair or something like that, do they do it? Or like, do they like fully grasp what you're asking them to do?
Like, I think they would, but I don't know.
So
that's interesting.
You can get those online. You can just Google ASQ questionnaires and like try them out on your kiddos. They're kind of fun.
Yeah.
If you can do them in person. Because that's what we would do as teachers. We'd be filling out these questionnaires and you've got all these kids here and I'll be like, hey, can you do that? Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
actually like making sure that they could do it.
This might be unrelated, but so they do kind of like report cards like that at daycare, and there's like 2 categories. It's like growing or glowing. And I hate so much when they like say that she's growing at something that I know she's glowing at home, and it makes me so angry. So it's all about like where
Jewel,
they are.
do they
I feel
have
like.
you fill it out too?
No.
Oh, interesting. So where Lainey goes, the parent fills it out and the teacher fills it out. So you can get
Interesting.
And it's
I
interesting.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because sometimes there's things that they do at school that they don't do at home and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it is.
That's true. Sometimes I'm like, she does.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I knew that she learned her alphabet.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
Lainey just recently went to preschool.
Gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, she's had her first full week last week. And I was asking the teacher how she was doing. And she was like, she is so smart. She's recognizing her letters. She's so adorable. And then she paused for a minute. I'm like, what? She was like, she is a little sassy. I'm like, no way. No way.
Did she say that for real? I don't feel like Lainey's like, that's so funny.
Oh, yeah. She's totally sassy.
I feel
Oh
like I
my
don't
gosh.
see it as much, though.
Oh, she's also very slow to warm up. And
Yeah.
that is something that she
Because I
needs
see her
to,
at dance and stuff.
yeah. Well, that's when she's at the end of the day and she hates everything. And
Yeah.
doesn't want to do it.
That's so fun. Like, what does she do at school that's sassy?
I didn't ask specifics,
Oh, I
but like,
wouldn't.
I'm
Give
sure
me
it's
an
just
example.
the same stuff she
Millions,
does to us.
too, I mean.
Yeah.
They're moms.
Yeah.
How can you?
Of course.
What do you
And I was like,
expect?
well, she does take after her mother, so.
Well, get used to it. So is preschool more of like a regimented schedule?
Yeah. Yeah. So she'll be in there for a full year and then she goes to pre-K.
Oh my gosh. So it goes preschool, pre-K, and then kindergarten. Stop it.
And I don't know where she got this recently, but it's really making me so sad that whoever told her this, she's like, Mommy, soon I'm going to ride the big yellow school bus. I
Oh,
was like,
no.
You're actually grounded for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Go to your room. Never say that word again.
It's like, and now she says it every day I pick her up. Like, can you just slow your roll?
Can you not?
God, I know I'm already planning your 4th birthday, but
Yeah.
kidding.
Millie changes rooms tomorrow where she becomes a beaver. Kelsey cannot not laugh at that.
I cannot hang with it. What?
I'm going to bring it up every single
What
time.
person was like, what should we name this classroom? You
A
know,
beaver. What animal did we not use yet? A beaver. She's been a piglet. She's been a kangaroo. Now she's going to be a
those
beaver.
are fine. Piglets are fine. Kangaroos are fine. Beavers are not fine. I'm just picturing like in the writing room, you know. Anyone got any ideas? No? No one? Nothing?
We're going with beaver.
Beaver it is. It's like when you fail a class because you didn't show up to the class. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'll be sure to tell
my
my daycare how you feel about
I'm going to
her
write
name.
them an anonymous
I'm going to get her
letter.
a shirt. No.
I'm going to make her a shirt. Watch out, Millie, on your birthday. You're going to have the best shirt ever.
Oh my God. But it's
Millie
it's
the Beaver.
Stop it. It's preschool.
Early
and then she'll
preschool?
yeah, it's early preschool, and then she'll go to yeah.
Oh my
But
God.
her whole class is moving up with her, which makes me feel better. Stop it. Get out of here. So have you ever heard of the account Big Little Feelings?
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love them. I feel like they have given me really good parenting advice, just like
Yeah.
following them on social media. They also offer like courses and things on their website, which I have not done, but I really, really like their Instagram
Oh,
profile
that's cool.
as a
I
a
didn't realize
plug.
they did courses. That's
Yeah,
cool.
they're like
Are they free?
a big thing. No, I don't think so. I'm not sure, but I don't
Gotcha.
think so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of resources out there now, and I think
Yeah.
that's like, okay, I'm gonna sound really stupid when I say this. I don't want to say that like parenting has gotten easier, but I think there's
We just have more resources.
so much more.
Yeah.
And even my mom will say like, God, I wish I would have had all this
Yes.
stuff when you were kids.
Yeah.
And like, there's just like, I think like mental health is such a big thing now. So like asking for help when you need help, and even like getting children mental health help
Yeah.
when they need it is such
It's
a
so
big
much
thing.
more normalized.
And when you have littles in childcare like we do, they even have resources where when they're having issues in the classroom, because that's the hardest thing about working in childcare is when you have a kiddo that you can't help. And like you see it all the time, and it's just like there's so many feelings. The teachers are frustrated, the child is frustrated, the parents are frustrated, like we're frustrated because we're sending this child home for X, Y, and Z. And now there's resources where, at least where we live, our local children's hospital has a program where they will come into the school and observe and offer like so many different suggestions and guidelines and things to help. So if you're struggling, if your child is struggling at a daycare, ask if that's something that they can help you with, because it's hard. It's so hard. Discipline is hard.
Discipline is really hard. It's just like, it's what works for your kid, and then sometimes it works for a month and then it changes. And you kind of have to get creative again, but
because you get a new baby every 4 months.
You get a new baby every 4 months. I'm going to say it every episode. Every episode. And now you have a preschooler.
Oh gosh.
Crazy.
Wild.
All right. Anything else?
That's all I got.
I'm dying to know what we're going to talk about next week.
Me?
Oh no, did you not? Isn't it your turn?
Is it?
Yeah, I picked this episode.
Okay. I mean, I have one.
Oh.
I always have one.
The way you were so like taken aback. I was like, oh no.
Okay. Next episode, we are going to talk about products we couldn't live without.
Oh, I love that. Like mom products.
Anything.
Or like things for
kids,
our
for your kids. Things.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't have to be related to being a mom. We are more than mothers.
Are we though?
Kind of.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like 90-10.
Yeah.
Maybe 95-5.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I love that. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so tune in next week.
Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for listening as always. We have an Instagram account where we post really funny things all the time. All the time, constantly. So you won't stop laughing. We have a Facebook account, so join our group there, and you can listen to us on Spotify, probably where you're listening to us at this very moment, but you can also pan out to anywhere podcasts are released.
And of course, you're doing great, Mom Besties.
Constantly doing the best.
Yep. All right.
Have a great week.